The world's biggest streaming empire is collapsing, and most people have no idea. There are moments when the world seems to shift. A flicker on a screen, a number on a chart that points down, then down again. For years, the red Netflix logo was a symbol of unstoppable power, a new kind of kingdom built not on land, but on stories. It lived in our homes, it lived on our phones, it lived in our minds. It promised endless entertainment, a world without commercials, a future we could control with a click. The crown, it seemed, was secure, but crowns can be heavy. Sometimes they begin to slip, a quiet, almost imperceptible glitch. This is a story about that glitch. It is a story about a giant. Netflix didn't just join entertainment. It remade it in its own image. It started with a simple idea: sending DVDs through the mail, a David against the Goliath of Blockbuster. While DVDs still ruled, Netflix saw the internet. It began streaming. The selection was small, the quality imperfect, but the idea was revolutionary. The binge model was born. Netflix changed what we watched and how we watched it. Its third act, becoming the creator. Instead of buying shows, Netflix made its own. A force of culture with hits, premieres, and prestige. The red logo became a stamp of quality. Subscribers flocked from every corner, passing 300 million paying members. Data told them what audiences craved. Money let them create it. A cultural juggernaut and a Wall Street darling. But invincibility is often an illusion. Behind record-breaking shows and soaring counts, a different narrative was unfolding, written in the fine print, in the rising tide of debt. The world it conquered was changing, and the conqueror was being forced to change with it. But empires are expensive to build, and the Netflix empire was built on a mountain of borrowed money. From the outside, immense success. Inside, spending more than it earned for a very long time. It funded its content ambitions by taking on debt, billions upon billions of dollars. The logic was simple: spend now to acquire subscribers, and future cash would pay the bill. Wall Street rewarded it. As long as subs went up, debt was a minor detail. Shares sold, bonds issued, cash raised. Outspend everyone. A high-wire act performed without a net. The more Netflix spent, the more it had to spend. To keep subscribers from leaving, to attract new ones. A quiet counter-narrative, long-term debt climbing behind the celebrations. What if the growth stopped? What if subscribers started to leave? If the flow of new money slowed, the weight of old debt would feel much heavier. For a long time, the future was bigger than the past, but no tree grows to the sky. The cost of the golden age was a bill that would, one day, come due. There was a time when a new Netflix original was an event, anticipated, debated. Overwhelming the competition with volume created an unintended side effect, a flood. When everything is available, nothing feels essential. The paradox of choice. In the race to fill thousands of hours, quality felt diluted. Not every show could be a masterpiece. For every global hit, dozens landed with a whisper and vanished without a trace. Abrupt cancellations bred caution. Why invest in a story that might never get an ending? This has a name: content fatigue. The endless scroll became a chore. The algorithm started to feel repetitive, pushing sameness. The conversation splintered, attention atomized across rivals and across Netflix itself. Volume made marketing harder. Many good shows got lost in the shuffle. The fire hose meant to be a moat began to drown the very users it was meant to protect. More wasn't always better. And that tension, between quantity and meaning, sits at the center of the story now. Today is January 10th, 2026. The chart tells a story of fear, down over 30% from its recent peak. The gathering storm, rivals at the gates. For a long time, Netflix had no true peers. Old empires were watching, learning, and wanted a piece of the kingdom. Disney+, Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV+, HBO Max, the battlefield crowded overnight. Each new service gave customers another reason to think twice about Netflix. Studios reclaimed their hits to stock their own shelves. Netflix's library thinned. Forced to create everything itself, costs exploded. Bidding wars turned ferocious. Netflix was now the incumbent defending a throne against giants with deep pockets and IP. The easy days were over. Every subscriber had to be fought for. The signs of trouble, once whispers, grew into loud alarms. For the first time in a decade, Netflix started losing subscribers. The illusion of perpetual growth shattered. Wall Street recoiled. It declared war on password sharing, a move to convert viewers into payers. After years of a commercial-free promise, it launched ads, attracting 190 million monthly viewers. Layoffs, tightened spending, costly projects canceled. The blank check era was over, margins near 30%, yet cracks in the facade. These were moves of survival, not swagger. These were symptoms of something deeper: saturation and ferocious competition. Faced with a new reality, Netflix didn't retreat. It did the opposite. It proposed acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery for $82.7 billion. An earthquake. An attempt to buy not just a library, but a legacy. A century of filmmaking and evergreen franchises. Co-CEO Greg Peters called it a move to accelerate the business for decades. To finance it, another $59 billion in debt, swelling obligations to colossal levels. The market recoiled, down 32% from the mid-2025 peak. Then, a rival all-cash bid entered, $108.4 billion, putting Netflix in a precarious spot. If the deal falls apart, a $5.8 billion breakup fee, one of the largest ever. A high-stakes poker game. Masterstroke to secure dominance, or desperate bet from a cornered incumbent. Beyond balance sheets and boardrooms, another struggle is taking place for the creative soul of Netflix. Success built on data, algorithms that recommend, greenlight, and predict. But guided by what worked, data can create an echo chamber, a sameness that feels engineered. True innovation springs from singular vision and risk. Data may refine and market. It cannot replace the spark. In minimizing failure, sharp edges get sanded down. A factory for content, not a home for art. Netflix is becoming more reactive than proactive, chasing trends, not setting them. The algorithm can tell you what is popular, not what is important. In the early days of 2026, we watch a giant wobble. Netflix is not failing. Not yet. It remains the largest platform with immense pricing power and a growing ad business. Returns are strong, a sign of a durable business. But the ground beneath it is shifting. Today's tale is debt, fierce competition, and a high-stakes bet that could secure the future or hasten decline. The lesson is bigger than one company. The myth of endless growth that's powered tech for a generation. Disruptors become incumbents, and incumbents must defend and manage complexity. An empire built on rapid expansion can be fragile when expansion slows. Empires often erode from within, through debts that grow too large, through creativity that dims, through a world that changes around them. Every empire believes it's untouchable until it isn't. So the question isn't, will Netflix survive? It's whether we're watching the fall in real time. Revenue climbed above $43 billion in the last year. Growth still real. Operating margins near 30%. Ads reach 190 million monthly viewers. Profitability and returns exceed the hurdle rate. A durable edge persists. Yet markets fear the cost of empire building. Massive mergers often disappoint. A proposed $59 billion in new debt concentrates risk into the future. The path ahead: ad-supported scale, consolidation, and AI-assisted creation, or a slow decline. It must balance numbers with narrative, data that informs, not dictates. Netflix taught us a new way to watch. Now we're all watching Netflix, waiting for the end of its most important story. Every empire believes it's untouchable, until it isn't. Are we witnessing the evolution of an enduring kingdom, or are we watching the slow, quiet cracking of an empire? The illusion of endless growth. A fragile empire. A bet for the ages. They don't want you to know this. Soft. Subscribe for the next chapter.